Good day, everyone. My name is Lord Laken Garcia, and I'm going to report the Module 3 of the CA100. The title of the topic is The Study on Institutional Agencies in the Philippines, Code of Kalanchao, Bilibid Prison, San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm, Iwahig Penal Colony, Correctional Institute for Women, New Bilibid Prison, Davao Penal Colony, Sablayan Penal Farm, Leyte Regional Prison, Provincial Jail System, and Public Attorney's Office or PAO. Let's start off the institutional agency of the Philippines. The Department of Justice pursues its mandates through its agencies, and these are the following: the Bureau of Corrections, Bureau of Immigration, National Bureau of Investigation, Parole and Probation Administration, Presidential Commission on Good Government, Public Attorney's Office, for Alternative Dispute Resolution, Office of the Government Corporate Counsel, Office of the Solicitor General, and last is the Land Registration Authority. First is the Bureau of Corrections. The Bureau of Corrections is tasked with custody and rehabilitation of national offenders. So basically, the Bureau is sila ang responsible, or they are tasked for the reform of the offenders. Next is the Bureau of Immigrations. In accordance with the revised Administrative Code of 1987, the Commission of Immigration and Deportation was renamed Bureau of Immigration, as it is more called today. Under this code, the Bureau is composed of three structural units, namely the Office of the Commissioner, the Board of Commissioners, the Board of Special Inquiry. These groups act as collegial bodies and exercises quasi-judicial powers affecting the entry and stay of foreign nationals in the country. So basically, the Bureau of Immigrations are the ones who are tasked for the status of the foreigners that are going in and out of our country. The National Bureau of Investigation. The main goal of the National Bureau of Investigation is to establish and maintenance of a modern, effective, and efficient investigative service and research agency for the purpose of implementing fully principal functions provided under the Republic Act No. 157 as amended. The Republic Act in June 1947 is an act creating a Bureau of Investigation providing funds therefore and for other purposes. Let's go back. So, the Bureau of Investigations, by its name, it is tasked to investigate cases. Next is the Parole and Probation Administration. The Parole and Probation Administration, or PPA, provides a less costly alternative to imprisonment of offenders who are likely to respond to individualized community-based treatment programs. So this is the cheap way. The next is the Presidential Commission on Good Government. The Presidential Commission on Good Government shall be in charge with the task of assisting the President in the recovery of the ill-gotten that was accumulated by the former President, Ferdinand E. Marcos. So this bureau is tasked for to help the President to create a good administration and to recover the ill-gotten wealth. His immediate family, relatives, subordinates, and close associates, whether located in the Philippines or abroad, including the takeover or sequestration of all businesses, enterprises, and entities owned and controlled by them. During the Marcos regime, directly or through nominees, by taking undue advantage of their public office and or using their powers, authority, influence, connection, or relationship, the investigation of such cases of graft and corruption as the President may assign to the Commission from time to time, and the adoption of safeguards to ensure that the above practices shall be not repeated in any manner under the new government, and the institution of adequate measures to prevent the occurrence of corruption. So basically, this bureau is hereby tasked to provide good governance to guide the next administration or the next president. Public Attorney's Office. The Public Attorney's Office exists to provide the indigent litigants, the oppressed, marginalized, and unprivileged members of the society free access to courts, judicial and quasi-judicial agencies by rendering legal services, counseling, and assistance in consonance with the constitutional mandate that free access to courts shall not be denied to any person by reason of poverty, in order to ensure the rule of law, truth, and social justice as components of the country's sustainable development. So this bureau is tasked to give the Filipinos, or let us say the poor Filipinos, free access to courts. Office for Alternative Dispute Resolution. To promote, develop, and expand the use of alternative dispute resolution or ADR in the private and public sectors, and to assist the government to monitor, study, and evaluate the use by the public and the private sectors of ADR, and recommend to Congress needful statutory changes to develop, strengthen, and improve ADR practices in accordance with the world standards. Next is Office of the Government Corporate Council. The Office of the Government Corporate Council, or OGCC, was founded on December 1, 1935 as Government Council Division under the Department of Justice, or DOJ. To date, Department of Justice. To date, it has emerged as the premier law office of government-owned and controlled corporation, or GOCCs, their subsidiaries, other corporate offsprings, and government-acquired asset corporations. Next is the Office of the Solicitor General. Office of the Solicitor General is an independent and autonomous office attached to the Department of Justice for budgetary purposes. It is the legal representative of the government of the Republic of the Philippines. Its agencies and instrumentalities and its officials and agents in any litigation, proceeding, investigation, or matter requiring the services of a lawyer before the local court systems of international fora. Land Registration Authority. The Land Registration Authority is mandated to issue decrees of registration and certificates of titles and registered documents, patents, and other land transactions for the benefit of landowners, agrarian reform beneficiaries, and the registering public in general, to provide a secure, stable, and trustworthy record of land ownership and record interest therein, so as to promote social and economic well-being and contribute to national development. Next is the concise history of the Bureau of Corrections. Corrections in the Philippines started during the pre-colonial times. It was, however, organized on an individual community basis. It was only during the Spanish regime when an organized corrective service was made operational. When the Americans took over in the 1900s, the Bureau of Corrections was created under the Reorganization Act of 1905, or Act Number 147, dated November 1, 1905. The main penitentiary was the Old Bilibid Prison in Arqueta Street, Manila, which was established in 1847 pursuant to Section 1708 of the Revised Administrative Code. It was formally opened by a royal decree in 1865. About 4 years later, or on August 21, 1869, the San Juan Prison and Penal Farm in Zamboanga City was established to confine Muslim rebels and recalcitrant political prisoners opposed to the Spanish rule. The facility faces the Jolo Sea, and has the Spanish-inspired dormitories and originally set on 1,414 hectares sprawling estate. This is the picture of the Old Bilibid prison. On June 25, 1865, the Old Bilibid prison, the first national penitentiary in the country, was established in Manila under a Spanish royal decree. It was divided into two sections, the Carcel section housing 600 inmates and the Presidio, accommodating 527 prisoners. About 7 decades later, due to the increasing population and crime rate, Commonwealth Act No. 67 was enacted and the new Bilibid Prison or NBP was constructed in Muntinlupa, Rizal in 1936 with a budget of 1 million pesos and initial land area of 551 hectares. The old prison's equipment and facilities were transferred to the NBP in 1940. The remnants of the old facility was used of the city of Manila as its detention center, known today as the Manila City Jail. When the Americans took over in the 1900s, the Bureau of Prisons was created under the Reorganization Act. It also paved the way for the re-establishment of San Roman Prison in 1907, which was destroyed during the Spanish-American War. On January 1, 1915, the San Roman Prison was placed under the auspices of the Bureau of Prisons started receiving prisoners from Mindanao. Products were transported through rail tracks, a mode which the Americans introduced to prison. Prisoners had to contend with dilapidated facilities within the cramped area. Before the reconstruction of the San Roman Prison, the Americans established in 1904 the Iuwit Penal Settlement, or now Iwahig Prison and Penal Farm, on a vast reservation of 28,072 hectares. It would reach an aggregate total land of area of 40,000 hectares in the late 1950s. It was located on the westernmost part of the archipelago and far from the main town to confine incorrigibles who the government had found little hope of rehabilitation. The area was expanded to 41,007 hectares by virtue of the Executive Order No. 67 issued by Governor Newton Gilbert on 1912. Other penal colonies were established during the American regime. On November 27, 1929, the Correctional Institution for Women was created under the Act 3579, while Davao Penal Colony in southern Mindanao was opened in 1932 under the Act of 3732. The CA200 was founded to provide separate facilities for women offenders to cater their gender differences. To date, it is the lone women's prison in the country. Owing to the increasing number of committals to the old Bilibid prison in Manila, the new Bilibid prison was established in 1935 in the southern suburb of Muntinlupa, Rizal. The old prison was transformed into a receiving center and a storage facility for farm produce coming from the colonies. It is presently abandoned and under the jurisdiction of the Public Estates Authority. Prisoners have to build their basic housing areas using materials available in the prison reservation. After the American regime, two more penal institutions were established. These were the Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm in Occidental Mindoro under Proclamation No. 72 issued on September 26, 1954, and Leyte Regional Prison under Proclamation No. 1101 issued on January 16, 1973. The Bureau of Corrections was named Bureau of Corrections under the new Administrative Code of 1987 issued on November 23, 1987, and Proclamation No. 495 of the President. It is one of the attached agencies under the supervision and control of the Department of Justice. The next is the Code of the Kalantiao. The Code of Kalantiao, purported pre-Spanish Philippine Penal Code, claimed to have been written in 1433 and discovered on the island of Panay in 1614. Later research created doubt on the code's discoverer by Jose E. Marco as a peddler of historical frauds. Marco was a prolific writer of the history of the Philippines, although his work was rife with errors and outright fabrications. In 2004, the National Historic Institute or the National Historical Commission of the Philippines declared the Code of Kalantiao to be a hoax or fake perpetrated in the early 20th century. Article 1. You shall kill, neither shall you steal, neither shall you do harm to the aged, lest you incur the danger of death. All those who infringe this order shall be condemned to death by being drowned in the river or in boiling water. Article 2. You shall obey, let all your debts with the headman be met punctually. He who does not obey shall receive for the first time 100 lashes. If the debt is large, he shall be condemned to thrust his hand in boiling water thrice. For the second time, he shall be beaten to death. Article 3. Obey. Let no one have women that are very young, nor more than he can support, nor be given to excessive lust. He who does not comply with, obey, and observe this order shall be condemned to swim for 3 hours for the first time, and for the second time to be beaten to death with sharp thorns. Article 4. Observe and obey. Let no one disturb the quiet of the graves. When passing by the graves and trees where they are, give respect to them. He who does not observe this shall be killed by ants or beaten to death with thorns. Article 5. You shall obey. He who exchanges for food, let it always be done in accordance with his word. He who does not comply shall be beaten for 1 hour. He who repeats the offense shall be exposed for 1 day among ants. Article 6. You shall be obliged to revere sites that are held in respect, such as those to trees or recognized worth, and other sites. He who fails to comply shall pay with 1 month's work in gold or in honey. Article 7. This shall be put to death. He who kills trees of venerable appearance, who shoots arrows at night at old men and women, who enters the houses of the headman without permission, he who kills a shark or a strict cayman. Article 8. Slavery for a dome, a certain period of time, shall be suffered by those who steal away the woman of the headman, by him who keep ill-tempered dogs that bite the headman, by him who burns the fields of one another. Article 9. All these shall be beaten for 2 days, who sing while traveling by night, kill the manaul, tear the documents belonging to the headman, are malicious liars, or who mock the death. Article 10. It is decreed an obligation that every mother teach secretly to her daughters that matter pertaining to lust, and prepare them for womanhood. Let not men be cruel, nor punish their women when they catch them in the act of adultery. Whoever shall disobey shall be killed by being cut to pieces and thrown to the caimans. Article 11. They shall be burned who by their strength or cunning have mocked and at an escaped punishment, or who have killed young boys, or tried to steal away from the women of the elders. Article 12. These shall be drowned. All who interfere with their superiors and their owners or masters, all those who abuse themselves through their lust, those who destroy their idols by breaking them or throwing them down. Article 13. All these shall be exposed to the ants half a day, who kill a black cats during new moon, or steal anything from the chiefs or agurangs, however small the object may be. Article 14. They shall be made slave for life, who have beautiful daughters, and deny them to the sons of the chiefs, and with bad faith hide them away. Article 15. Concerning beliefs and superstitions, they shall be beaten who eat the deceased flesh of the beast which they hold in respect, or the herd which they consider food, who wound or kill the young of the manaul, or the white monkey. Article 16. The fingers shall be cut off, all of those who break idols or wood and clay in their alangans and temples, of those who destroy the daggers of the tagalons or break the drinking jars of the latter. Article 17. These shall be killed who profane sites where idols are kept and sites where are buried the sacred things of their diwatas and headmen. He who performs the necessities in those places shall be burned. Article 18. Those who do not cause this rule to be obeyed, if they are headmen, they shall be put to death by being stoned and crushed. If they are agurangs, they shall be placed in rivers to be eaten by sharks and caimans. So the Code of Kalanchow is full of harsh punishments, and good thing, it is fake, or it is proved to be hoax. Next is the 7 institutional corrections of the Philippines. First is the New Bilibid Prison in Muntinlupa, Metro Manila. It's the main insular penitentiary designed to house the prison population of the Philippines. It is maintained by the Bureau of Corrections, or BUCOR, under the Department of Justice. As of May 2018, the NBP housed 26,877 convicted criminals. In 1940, prisoners were transferred to the NBP from the Old Bilibid Prison, or also known as Cárcel y Presidio Correccional, Spanish for correctional jail and military prison in Manila. It is known today as the Manila City Jail. The Old Bilibid Prison, then known as Cárcel y Presidio Correccional Spanish, occupied a rectangular piece of land that was part of the Mayhalik estate in the heart of Manila. The old prison was established by the Spanish colonial government on June 25, 1865 via royal decree. It is divided into two sections: the Cárcel, which could accommodate 600 inmates, and the Presidio, which could hold 527 prisoners, and this is tackled a while ago. The San Roman Prison and Penal Farm. According to the historical accounts, the San Roman was established in the southern Zamboanga on August 21 through a royal decree promulgated in 1869, established during the tenure of Governor General Ramon Blanco. The facility was originally established for persons convicted of political crimes. Considered the oldest penal facility in the country, prisoners in San Ramon were required to do agricultural work. On November 1, 1905, Reorganization Act Number 1407 was approved, creating the Bureau of Prisons under the Department of Commerce and Police, integrating the Old Bilibid Prison, San Roman Penal Colony, and Uhay Penal, the Philippine Coconut Authority, and Uhay Penal. The Philippine Coconut Authority took over management of the coconut farm from San Ramon. In 1995, the Congresswoman Maria Clara Lobrigat proposed the transfer of San Ramon Prison to Bongiao Town in the mountainous area of Zamboanga to give way to a special economic zone. Next is the Iwahig Penal Colony, or Iwahig Penal Colony. Yes. This facility was established during the American occupation. It is, however, during the Spanish regime, the Puerto Princesa was designated as a place where offenders sentenced to banish were exiled. A specific area of Puerto Princesa was selected as the site for a correctional facility. Iway is subdivided into 4 zones or districts. These are Central Subcolony and with an area of 14,700 hectares. The next is the Montebol with 8,000 hectares, and last is the Ingaw no. Next is the Ingawan with 13 hectares. Recent developments and presidential proclamations have dramatically reduced the size of the prison reservation of Iway. Next is the Correctional Institution for Men, CA or CIW. In a report dated January 22, 1959, submitted to a committee created by Administrative Order Number 287 by the President of the Philippines, it was noted that before a separating building was constructed especially for women prisoners, all female convicts were confined at the Old Bilibid prison on Ascaraga Street, Manila. After the war, the CIW resumed its normal operations. Weekly catechism classes were introduced. A dental clinic was built. Local telephones were installed in the guards' quarters. In 2000, a 4-story building was constructed by the Department of Public Works within the ground of CIW. It eased the growing congestion in the facility. The CIW, with a capacity for only 200, had to accommodate 1,000 inmates. The Davao Penal Colony. The Davao Penal Colony is the first penal settlement founded and organized under the Filipino administration. The settlement, which originally had an area of approximately 30,000 hectares in the districts of Panabo and Tagum, Davao del Norte, was formally established on January 21, 1932 by virtue of Act Number 3732. After the liberation of the Philippines, the colony in exile Palawan returned to its old site in Davao. A great deal of rebuilding and repair had to be done because the war had almost completely destroyed the colony. Next is the Sablayan and Penal Farm. Nearer to Manila than other penal colonies, the Sablayan Penal Colony is located in Occidental Mindoro and relatively new. Established on September 26, 1954 by the virtue of Presidential Proclamation Number 72, the penal colony has a total land area of approximately 16,190 hectares. Sablayan Prison is a facility where prisoners from NBP are brought for decongestion purposes. It follows the same colony standards as other penal farms. Leyte Regional Prison. The Leyte Regional Prison, situated in Abuyog, southern Leyte, established a year after the declaration of martial law in 1972 by virtue of Presidential Decree Number 28, while its plantilla and institutional plan were almost ideal, lack of funds made the prison unable to realize its full potential, and its facilities are often below par compared with those of other established penal farms. The LRP has an inmate capacity of 500. It follows the same agricultural format as the main correctional program in addition to some rehabilitation activities. The prison admits convicted offenders from Region 6 and from the National Penitentiary on Muntinlupa. And that is the end of my report. Thank you.